All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. I like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today, I'm just going to simply title this lesson Perilous Times, because just this week alone, I've been seeing numerous brothers, and even the elders, just pretty much make mention of the times they're about to come into, and that time being the time of Jacob's trouble, which is vastly approaching. And we clearly see that there's still a lot happening, because the month of January alone, there's been a lot of things going on, man. you know and one of the primary things that's been happening as of lately, Big T, Trump pretty much, you know, rounding up, these migrants, these Issacharites, so-called Mexicans and Venezuelans, that pretty much came across the border, you know, you have pretty much, you know, them being rounded up. And it's also, just came out, it was either yesterday or it may have been earlier today, that he also wants to, pretty much send them to Guantanamo Bay, you know. And if you know anything about that particular prison, it's horrible over there, you know. But again, it's madness. How can you kick, a group of people out of their own land, especially if the land belongs to them anyway? Because if you want to be technical, North, Central, and South America belong to, the Northern Kingdom, but as we know, North America was stolen from, Gad, Reuben, and Issachar. Issachar still has, Mexico, but overall, we know that, Esau, he came and took the land from them, man. And he even, was trying to get rid of, the natives, which is, the Gadites, man. A lot of madness going on, man. But this is how you know that we're at the end, man. We're in the last, Slacky, I'm a little excited, but we're in the last of the last days, if that makes sense, because we know that we're getting closer to that day, when we're going to see our Lord return. So I have a few scriptures written down, you know, so I'm just pretty much going to go through them, you know, and just bring them out. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point, man. But that the time of Jacob's trouble, is coming. It could happen this year because as our apostle, it's a hard deem 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. But it's looking like that may take place this year. You know, February is just in a couple days. We'll see what takes place. Next month. But again, man, times are getting harder. You know, and we're hoping that again Trump is that cruel Lord that is spoken of in Isaiah chapter 19. Man, we're hoping that's him. Because again, they even talking about having him run for a third term. So that he very well may be the last president. You know, so I'm going to start with the book of Second Timothy, chapter 3, and verse 1. And as you can clearly see, the headline reads, "Difficult times will come, and indeed they are coming." You know, so this is Second Timothy 3 and 1, and it says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." So, right, are we not in the last days? You know, perilous times. Let's look up that word perilous, man, because again, we know that troublesome times are on the way. That this, that, like, it's a very serious time, man. It's a very serious time that we're coming into. We're going to see, all hell break loose. We're going to see the Lord pour out his judgment upon the earth, right? This is the word perilous in the blue letter.
Strong's G 5467. Chalipas. Chalipas.
Chalipas. And it says hard to do, to take, to approach, hard to bear, troublesome, dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage. So again, troublesome, dangerous, harsh times are coming, man. You know, all hell is getting ready to break loose, and it's, from the looks of just with this whole ICE situation, which is pretty much, the I forgot Slovakia. I forget, what the acronym stands for because I was listening to a video, they said it earlier, but pretty much again, you have these particular group of agents rounding up, the Northern Kingdom. They rounded up, a so-called Jamaican woman, and if I'm not mistaken, her son. So again, man, it's starting with the Northern Kingdom, but eventually it's going to transition to the Southern Kingdom as well, man, because you have, Jake, and when I say Jake, referring to, the tribe of Judah, you know, the wicked of our people, they don't take anything seriously, until it directly affects them, because you have certain of them, making fun of, you know, Issachar, which again is their brethren, just real quick, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, we're a family, you know. But of course, you wicked niggas, y'all ain't gonna understand that because it wasn't given to you to understand, man. And that's also, in the curses, that we would have an evil eye toward our brother. These are your brethren, man. And the same with you, Northern Kingdom. You know, we're your brethren, you're our brethren, man. We're all a family. Just we just look a little different, with different shades of brown, and some of y'all speak Spanish, or a lot of y'all speak Spanish, and obviously Negroes we speak English, but overall we're all still Israelites, man, and these are your brethren. But you have these wicked jakes out here, making fun of Issachar for being, shipped back to Mexico, you know, because as we know, the most of them that came up here, they either came up here for one or two reasons: to, be delivered, you know, upon our Lord's second coming, or to receive their judgment, you know. But the main reason we know that Issachar comes over here from Mexico to America is to, try to, get a better life, to make some money, things like that, right? But those times are coming to an end, man, where they're not going to be able to do that anymore, you know, because again, Trump, he's finna put hell on the American people, you know. You people wanted them, you got them, right? So I'm going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. And it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So, right, we're still hearing of wars, rumors of wars. Excuse me, Slovakia. You know, you still have Russia and Ukraine at war with each other. You still have, Israel and, Iran, or just, the small hats and Ishmael over there in the land. They're still going to war with each other, man. These different wars that are going on throughout the world, right? Wars and rumors of wars. World War III is still looming, man. You know, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, man, because last year, or really in 2023, the doomsday clock was set at 90 seconds to midnight. And as of either yesterday or a couple days ago, is now at 89 seconds to midnight, you know, meaning we're that much closer to doomsday, you know, we're that much closer. So again, World War III is still looming right now, even though it's pretty much already started, it's still a rumor because it won't be official until Russia and America are directly at war with each other, right? Verse 7, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." So, right, man, we're still seeing these things take place, man. A nation against nation, but that's going to be, you know, turned up. We're going to see that here in America, which, we're seeing it on a small scale. Video earlier, you had some women out there in Beverly Hills talking shit to Issachar, calling them wetbacks and this and that, which again, that's a part of the curses, being called these bywords and proverbs, the nation of Edom, calling us niggas, spics, wetbacks, spooks, this and that, you know, these are also a part of those curses, man, you know. But again, nation against nation, famines, the famine is still looming, because again, with a lot of these Issacharites that are pretty much afraid of being detained and sent back to Mexico, you have a lot of them, that will usually be in, these particular department stores like, Issachar, one thing they're known for as being hard workers, you know, they are. Say whatever you want about Issachar, yeah, they're stubborn, but they work their ass off, and one thing, they also, bring in a lot of produce. They're the reason a lot of produce actually comes into America, because they're the ones pretty much harvesting it, or at least from the video that I've seen, you know, they'll be out in those fields, reaping their fruit, you know. So again, famines, pestilences, you still have these various diseases and sicknesses out here, you know, that are going to be released. Earthquakes, California is still on fire, man. It's a lot going on, man. But just like it says in verse 8, these are just the beginning of sorrows, man. How much more when it gets turned up, when we're in the midst of, this place, all hell breaking loose, man. When it fully collapses, these people are going to lose their minds, man. But what? The men of the Lord, Lord willing, I myself, first and foremost, speaking for myself, I hope I'm numbered amongst those men, the elect, man. I pray that I'm numbered amongst those men, you know, to be able to make it through these tough times that we're approaching, because again, we have to mentally and spiritually prepare ourselves for what's about to happen on this earth. We can't, physically prepare because again, there's no way for us to carnally, prepare for what's finna happen, you know, because ultimately we know that this is the Lord's doing, ultimately to test us, but we can't carnally prepare, but we can mentally and spiritually prepare for this, right? Verse 9, it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So, right, man, that time is coming also where, the men of the Lord, you know, not even just, the true men of the Lord, but even, all these other Israelite groups, man, we're going to be blamed, you know, but, the sincere men, those, the people that know us in the world, man, our friends, our family members, some of them, if not certain, all of them are really going to seek to, try to turn us in to the authorities because, something is going to happen to where they're going to have our faces, plastered all over the news saying that we're, a T group, that we're domestic T's, you know, doing, whatever. And, our family, they may have, bounties on us, and our family members or friends are going to try to turn us in or even seek to kill us. Well, because we know these other people, they're going to seek to try to, take our lives. You know, when it says, "You shall be hated of, many nations or of all nations for the Lord's sake, for His name's sake." And we are hated of all nations now, but it's going to again gradually get worse. You know, verse 10, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. So, right, that, we still see that happening. There's a lot of false prophets out here, that are deceiving the people, because just like it says in the scriptures, the deceived and the deceiver are his, man. So ultimately, you have to have false prophets out here, man, to pretty much weed out the undesirables And we just have to hope that we're not numbered amongst those that are being, deceived, you know. Verse 12, and it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And right, man, we're seeing that as well. The love of many is waxing cold, man. You're starting to see people, do a lot of evil things, man. You know, people are offing their children, more and more, you know, these young people out here, primarily you young niggas, out here going crazy. People are really losing their minds, man. This is how you know that we're in the last days, man, because all the things that the Lord told us in this one chapter alone concerning this particular time we're seeing, you know, and we know that it's gradually going to get worse, right? But this is the main point right here. Verse 13 says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And right, that's what we're hoping for, man. We're hoping to endure unto the end, man. We don't want to come into this thing and fall out and pretty much, not, you know, finish the mission. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, man. We're on a mission, you know, to help awaken the elect so that they can be sealed, and to ultimately, be saved, man. That's our mission, to teach this word. We're gonna go through our hell, whatever the Lord has planned for each and every one of us, man. We're gonna have to go through our situations, but again, we're hoping to endure. We're hoping that the Lord is with us, in these last days, man. Because just like it says, the same that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved, man. And that's what we want, right? So I'm going to get the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and verse 6. And it says, ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness? So we've all seen, women and how they are, right before they, go into labor, man. When a woman, her water breaks, when she's in that ninth month, her water breaks, and those contractions, you know, they get closer and closer, she grips her stomach, because she's in pain. That's how a lot of men are going to be out here, man. They're going to be afraid, like a woman that's about to give birth, you know, you know, men are going to be afraid, man. Because if men are going to be afraid, how much more the women, because it's going to be an extremely terrible time upon the earth, right? Verse 7, it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right, man. That's the time that is approaching, man, the time of Jacob's trouble, and it's going to be terrible, man. Just like it says, none is going to be like it, man. This is going to be the worst time upon the earth ever, you know. But I'm going to grab that in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1. You see the headline reads, the time of the end. We're in the end, man. We're in the end. So this is Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that should be found written in the book. And right, man, this is how terrible it's going to be. It said this is going to be a time like no other, man. You know, so pretty much all the trials and tribulations that we went through as a nation, during these past captivities is not going to compare to the time that we're approaching, man. It's going to be so bad upon the earth that Michael the archangel is even going to have to step in on our behalf to help deliver us, man. You know, because Esau Edom is getting ready to be unleashed, man. He's about to come down upon us, So I'm going to get that in Revelation chapter 12 and 12. And it says, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And right, man, he is getting ready to come down on us, having that great wrath, man, because again, he knows he has a short time, and that he, meaning the elites, they know they don't have long left to rule, man. You know, because just like it's, I'm just going to quote it, just like it says in Second Esdras, 6 and 9. You know, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? So we're seeing the downfall of Esau Edom's world. We're seeing the downfall of his kingdom. And we're going to see, the beginning, the uprising of Jacob, meaning the nation of Israel, man, the kingdom of heaven being established on the earth. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man, because there's truly going to be peace upon the earth, man. But before there's peace, there has to be, evil, man. All of these things that are taking place on the earth, you know. And then just to backtrack a little bit, just like it says in that Jeremiah 30 and 7 and Daniel 12 and 1, Jeremiah 30 and 7, that he that is going to be saved out of it is the elect, you know. And in that Daniel 12 and 1, everyone that should be found written in the book, again, the elect, man. The elect are going to be saved, you know, because again, the time that we're approaching, the entire nation of Israel won't be saved again this time, man. Only a remnant is going to be saved because two-thirds of our people, they've pretty much spent their time, BSing, you know, instead of trying to get right, repenting, and turning from their wicked ways, man. They've pretty much, you know, did whatever, they turned away the hand of the Lord because just like it says in Second Esdras 9, our people have time to get this word, you know, they have time, man. They have liberty to get this word, but what do? They neglect this word. You know, spiritually speaking, they they turn away the shoulder, or they smack the Lord's hand away. You know, because this word is readily available. Through the internet, and that's the easiest way to come across this truth by way of the internet, man. Because just like our Apostle Kabar says, man, the internet does our heavy lifting. Now, granted, you will have certain of the elect that are going to come across a camp. They're going to hear the word that way. But primarily, I made this statement, at, camp this past Saturday, that we all individually have, our testimonies of how we came across the truth. And me personally, you know, I was awakened by way of the internet. That's how I came across, you know, waking up, to the truth. That's how the Lord allowed me, to wake up by way of the internet, man, you know. So this word is going to reach the elect, you know. But again, we're approaching very, very terrible times, man, upon this earth. And we're going to see this judgment get poured out, you know. So I'm going to get the book of Second Esdras, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 14. And it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And right, man, that's the time that we're about to come into. All hell breaking loose. These people aren't going to, care what, Trump has to say, governors, mayors, you know, any person that's in a position, of authority, they're not going to give a damn what they have to say. They're going to take action into their own hands, you know, because that's really what we're seeing, especially these Edomites in these rural areas, man. They're ready to stand up for their country, which, was stolen, but they're ready to fight for what they believe in, man, you know. Verse 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? Martial law, that's coming, because understand that another lockdown is coming. When, me personally, I don't know. I can only speculate, but it's coming, but we know once it happens, it's going to be the real thing, you know, it's going to be the real thing because, the drill was in 2020. That was the test. So once they send these troops out, you know, in the streets, it's over, you know. You're not going to be able to freely travel from city to city like you would, you know. Verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So, right, people are going to be raiding other people's houses. You have these doomsday preppers, that post these videos about them stocking up, food, water, guns, ammo, these various things, and they're also putting it out there for the world to see. So, these particular preppers, people are going to be looking for them to break in their houses and steal their shit, you know. And that's the time, again, that we're coming into. People are going to go into survival mode, man. You know, straight survival mode. So verse 19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. The sword meaning the gun. You know, the gun is the modern day sword, or the sword, or yes, like I said it right, but the gun is the modern day sword. People are going to have weapons going through their houses, trying to take their goods. It says, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So, right, remember, there's also going to be a famine. It's not that there's not going to be any food, there's just going to be a lack of it, because again, the Lord is going to make a way for his elect, you know, to, get through these tough times, just like it says in Isaiah, 65, my servant shall eat. The Lord is going to take care of his elect. But the wicked of our people and these other nations, they're going to suffer, you know. So I'm going to jump to Second Esdras chapter 16. Then I'm going to jump around this chapter and then I'll end it, you know. So I'm going to go to Second Esdras chapter 16 and verse 17, because again, we have to remember that Esdras, the angel told him and showed him the things that were going to take place in these last days, man. And Esdras knew that he was going to be back, or he knew he was going to be here, you know, in those times, which is why he made this statement, right? Since the second Esdras 16 and 17, it says, woe was me, who will deliver me in those days, right? Because again, reincarnation is a real thing, and our people understood reincarnation. So he knew that he would be here, in this current time. Who he is or where he is, we don't know. But Esdras is back on the earth. He is a prophet, yet again, he never stopped being a prophet, you know. So, verse 18, it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these things shall come? All right, this is what Esdras is asking, what is he going to do? Because again, the only thing we can do is, put our hope and trust in the Lord, that he, he's with us, that he delivers us, you know. Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges upon, it's like they are sent as scourges for a minute. Again, these are things that the Lord is going to send upon the earth, to judge these people for their wickedness, right? Verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, man. So they're not gonna they're not gonna understand why these things are happening to them. You know, they're not gonna be mindful of it, just like it says, man. Because again, our people get judged, and don't understand why. It's like it says in Job 4 and 7, whoever perished being innocent, So anyone that perishes, they weren't innocent, They pretty much got what they had coming, you know. Verse 21, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And right, and even now, you still, in certain places, you still have food that is, a decent price, even though the cost of everything is going up. Like me personally, I've been paying attention to the gas prices. You know, the gas has been slowly, gas prices have been slowly, increasing again, you know. So, hey, the cost of fuel goes up, that's going to be another thing that is going to aid in, inflation or hyperinflation, you know. But again, man, famine is coming. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So, right, whoever doesn't, starve to death, they're going to be killed by a sword. They'll either be shot, stabbed, or put to death in some gruesome fashion. You know, no, none of these people are going to be able to escape. If they're not of the elect, they will not escape their judgment. Verse 23, it says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. And right, man, there's going to be so many bodies out here on the streets, what it means to comfort, meaning, no one's going to be able to bury their bodies because there's going to be so much death, happening, you know. You're going to be stepping over bodies because there's going to be so much death, and judgment going out, you know. So are these people, still out here BSing, lost in the sauce, man? They don't understand that these things are about to take place, right? And I'm going to jump to verse 33, and I make mention of this all the time, anytime I go into this chapter, man, because a lot of you women are going to be left completely defenseless out here, right? And this is one of those ways. So this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. And why are they going to mourn? Because again, it just listed, women are going to mourn because they don't have men, to protect them, or they won't have men to protect them, you know. Now, granted, it's like it says in, I'm trying to, I don't want to, misquote, but I think it's 2nd John, where it mentions the elect lady, which, I'll actually grab that after. But the elect lady, again, the women that are slated to be saved, you will be delivered. There's no need to worry. The Lord is going to provide, a husband for you, But these wicked women out here, they're going to mourn because they won't have a man to protect them during that particular time. Why? This is why. In verse 34, it says, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So, right, a lot of men are going to be drafted to go and fight during World War III. And once they get drafted to go fight, they won't come home, or they won't be coming home, man. They're going to die over there, you know, over there in Saudi Arabia, if not exactly in Saudi Arabia, somewhere over in their region, you know, they're going to die over there. And then the men that don't get drafted somehow, they're going to die of the famine. And if they don't die of the famine, they're going to die somehow, you know. So a lot of women are going to be left completely defenseless. And I didn't write this one down, but I'll grab it since I made mention of it, because you have to, balance these things out, you know. Spell check, man. So yeah, 2nd John 1 and 1. And it says, the elder unto the elect lady and her children whom I love in the truth, and not only I, but also all them that have known the truth. So, right, all the women out there that are pretty much, repented and doing what they're supposed to do. Those of you that have husbands, continue to, you know, do right by your husbands, man. Continue to fear the Lord, and those of you that don't have husbands, again, just be patient during that time or before that time comes, just whenever or however it happens, the Lord is going to make a way. You will have a man to protect you, in the time of trouble. You won't be alone. You know, you may be for, a period of time, but overall, you will not be alone throughout this, you know, this whole tribulation, you know. So I'm going to jump to verse 70, 2nd Edges chapter 16 and verse 70, and it says, For there shall be in every, yes, like it, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, the Israelites, because Israel is the only nation that fears the Lord. But first and foremost, it's talking about the elect because we know our people, a lot of them, they don't have a healthy fear of the Lord like, we do, because we know what the Lord is about to do upon this earth, man. Verse 71, and this is one of the main points. Again, just like Revelation 12 and 12, 2nd Ezra 16 and 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So, right, man, Esau is going to unleash out here, man. He's going to be like a madman, just like it says, man. He's going to unleash his technology, his robots, man. He's going to go on a spree, you know, primarily targeting who? You Israelites, man. Doesn't matter if you're in a camp, not in a camp, if you know the truth or don't know the truth, man. He's coming after us. He wants to destroy us, man. But remember, he can't and won't get all of us, you know. Excuse me, Slakia. You know, the remnant of Israel is going to be saved, man. The Lord is going to keep us from this, man. You know, but the wicked of our people, they're going to be through. The Lord is going to allow Esau to terrorize the wicked of our people, man, in various fashions, whether it be through the concentration camps, you know, torturing them to death, you know, ultimately them being burned up in the nuclear fire once, World War III kicks all the way off, just that the Lord is finna, unleash his sword, man, his whipping stick, if you will, which is Esau, you know. So I'm going to end it on this, verse 73. It says, Then shall be, it's like it, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So, right, man. Once, all this hell happens upon the earth, you're going to know who the Lord's chosen is, man, because again, they won't be like these other people. They're going to have, a clear mind, at least the men, they're, they're going to be level headed. Now, granted, the, depending on whatever the situation, you still might, be a little worried, but overall, you're still going to be calm, man. You're going to know because they're not going to be in the same spirit as everyone else, man. Where everyone else is out here, losing their shit, you know, the men of the Lord are going to be calm, man, because the Lord is dealing with them. That's how you're going to know who the Lord is dealing with in the midst of that trouble, man, you know. So that's ultimately what we're hoping for. We're hoping to be numbered amongst the elect. And we're hoping that the Lord delivers us in this time of trouble, man. We're hoping that we endure to the end, you know, because times are about to get way worse, you know. And I just pretty much, wanted to throw this video out there as well, first and foremost, speaking to myself and even to any new brothers and sisters that may come across this truth, man. Prepare yourself mentally, not physically, but mentally and spiritually, prepare yourself for these things, man. Pray to the Lord, you know, that He's with you in those times. So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.